If you're new to Amigurumi, you may not know how many different ways there are to crochet and assemble these projects. In this video, we're going to cover 6 of the different ways we've learned to create these projects. Shh! Don't tell anyone. We're not Amigurumi experts. But we do have decades of crochet experience. So if something's new to us, we know it'll bring value to you if we're talking about it. And we're gonna help you analyze projects before you purchase them so you can be well informed of what you might be getting yourself into. But even now, every time we buy a new pattern, we learn something new.
There are tons of videos and courses on learning how to crochet amigurumi, and we don't have time to cover all those basics today. However, we are going to share with you some of the construction and assembly ideas that we've learned with almost every new pattern we've bought to help you make better decisions on the patterns that you're looking to purchase. We're going to divide our amigurumi projects into 6 different categories. We're going to give you a bunch of examples that we've already crocheted, and we have tons of videos already on the channel to help you with the joys and the potential challenges with these projects.
It's important to note that all of these items are going to fall into 2 categories. You'll see what we mean as we keep moving.
Category 1 is crocheting a lot of different pieces and sewing them all together. The examples that we brought for you today are the baby bunny in overalls and a little ducky knotted lovey.
So this little ducky here, he was made, his head and his body were made together, but then I had to crochet a beak and 2 wings and a tail and 2 feet, and then I had to sew them all together. So it's not exactly my favorite thing to sew everything on at the end, but he's really cute, and if I made it again, I do know what I could do to make it a less sew pattern.
Right.
So I like to make these cute little loveys like this when the arms are sewn on. I know of ways to crochet them on as we go, so maybe that's something we can talk about in a future video if it's something you're interested in.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
because I'm always looking for that too. Less sewing. And then this little cute bunny also had parts. She was actually constructed with her legs and then her body, and we had to make 2 separate arms, we had to make 2 separate ears, and all of these parts were sewn on.
Oh, and the head too, though.
And the head was constructed on its own too.
Yep.
So the only parts that were really crocheted together were the legs and then the main body
yeah, the main part of the body.
And this bunny worked from the bottom going up, but was still mostly all sewing.
Yeah, It's like the meat in the middle because you make the head and you make the body and then you sew them together.
Right, exactly. So this is our example, and we'll leave links to these patterns down below in case you're interested in them. But the construction that they fall into 2 categories really are that this is crocheted piece by piece and then sewn together, the same with this one, and then constructed mostly from the bottom up. This little guy was constructed from the top
to the bottom.
To the bottom with a lot of pieces sewn on at the end.
Now we're talking about number 2, which is our favorite. Crochet as you go.
Yes.
This one is the best for people who hate sewing, which is me.
And it's not my favorite either.
My number 1 hang up my entire life has been sewing things together.
Right. So crochet as you go means that you're going to crochet all the different pieces. And then as you are crocheting your animal, you are going to crochet these pieces on. So this is like this piece right here. You crochet them on as you're crocheting the body. So then you don't have to go back and stitch them on at the end. Everything is crocheted on as you're doing your construction.
Yeah, and the great part about this pattern is that they show you very specifically where to crochet it on in the process, which makes life so easy.
Right. And you know, when you're looking at different patterns, you don't really know unless you ask or you watch a video or you find a blog post or something where it actually tells you how the construction is, because I know that there are patterns that are similar or like this where they would actually have you sew the item on. And a lot of people aren't confident enough in their crocheting skills to know, oh, well, I could just crochet it on if it's not in the instructions. So that's why, you know, we're making a list, and we'll list all of the different items we've crocheted already that are crochet as you go, because I think that this is, for beginners, a much easier construction technique.
Yeah, it's less likely to screw up where, like, arms. I have so many projects where my arms, one is here and one is up here.
It is hard. It's tricky to
it's
get them
really
on
tricky
straight.
to line it up.
This little mini cow is also one of our sew as you go, and this
Sew
was
as you go or crochet
as you go. It was the first crochet as you go one that I did that is crocheted from the bottom up. So you made one leg and then you made another leg and you put them together and then you went around and around and continued going up. But before you started the body construction, you actually made the arms and the ears.
Oh, fun.
And so then you added these elements in. You crocheted them in as you went. And then the head's actually not sewn on. It's part of the construction also. There's a few extra little details. She's really a low sew pattern because you do need to sew on the snout area and her little horns at the top. And she didn't come with flowers that were sewn on, but I sewed them on because I thought they were adorable. I think that they have like a little headband option, but I wanted them attached. But this is a great example of crochet as you go for your main amigurumi. The ears were crocheted on as you made the head.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Next, we're covering the holy grail of crochet amigurumi patterns, I would say. It is the one-piece amigurumi. These are the projects that are actually only crocheted in one piece.
What do you need, Narvi? You need to go outside? Outside.
Yep.
Let's go outside.
Thank you for understanding my language. Many times you will buy a crochet pattern thinking it's a one-piece amigurumi, only to discover you're actually making like 5 different pieces and crocheting them together. Maybe not even 5, maybe 2. Maybe 3. But these patterns that are one piece are literally just made one time. You just change yarns and keep going. You're not crocheting individual pieces and tying them or sewing them together. So I know my mom made this one. I'm in the process of making 2 of these right now, but she did sew this adorable little flower on, but the rest of it is completely made in one piece. It's the ultimate pattern.
This is not the only one-piece pattern that we've been blessed to crochet. We also have crocheted the chubby frog pattern.
It's one of my favorites.
Our other one-piece pattern is our favorite flockers.
The flockers.
Yes.
They're so cute.
And so I think that finding one piece, no sew, no crochet on extra appendages is the best for beginners.
Oh yeah, they're so much simpler.
Yeah.
You don't have to like second guess the placement of anything or figure out how many layers am I crocheting through.
Right. And amigurumi in itself, the nature of it is you are increasing and decreasing stitches. You are crocheting it around, and that's something as a longtime crocheter I didn't do a lot of before. So you're keeping track of those things. And then if you're also using these plush yarns, that's also new. So the breaking the patterns down to the lowest common denominator, the one piece, no sew, no extra crocheting, is very helpful when you're brand new, especially if you want to learn amigurumi or learn how to use plush yarns. Number 4 is the construction technique of building your project from the top going down. An example of that we have is this cute little frog. This is from the Mama Made Minis Knotted Lovey book.
Yep, it's Tessa Toad.
Yep, and so she was constructed from the top, and then you work your way down. The arms are sewn on, and so that's why usually a bunch of the items that you're crocheting will fall into two categories, because they're either going to have random parts that are all sewn together. They're going to have some parts that are crocheted on, some parts that are sewn on, or they're just going to be one piece, and that's it.
Hey, not to totally interrupt you and derail your conversation, but this one, the head is worked from back to front, and then this is top down, and this is sewed, and this is crochet.
Right. Yes. And you don't see that front to back very often.
No, that was totally new to me with the with Mama Made Minis book, and honestly, I was making one of the things, what was it, a unicorn, and I was making a rose gold pink Bernay blanket unicorn, and my child said, "Mom, that looks like a pig," because its nose area was still open, and oh my gosh, like I couldn't get over that.
I remember that I got this phone call, and she's like, "What should I do?" And I'm like, "Keep going, trust the pattern." And it did turn out.
It did. It was so adorable.
Yes, but you're right. It did look.
Sometimes these construction patterns, or patterns of construction, can totally throw you off.
Right.
But you do have to trust the process sometimes.
Right. And like another one of those random ideas that just popped into my head was that baby bunny in overalls.
Oh, yeah.
How it looked like a Pillsbury Doughboy. Before you got all the parts sewn on, it just didn't look like it was going to be a cute little baby bunny at all.
That white one that we showed earlier is the first one I made, and it was like halfway through, and I'm like, this looks like a doughboy.
Right, right. So this is an example of construction from the top going down.
Yep. And now, bottoms up.
Literally. We're going to work from the bottom going up. This was the very first pattern, this mini cow, that I got to experience, where I started with the legs and worked my way going up.
Yes. Mine was this bunny.
This was the Pillsbury Doughboy bunny.
If you undress her and look at her from the back, you would definitely see what we were talking about.
This one actually falls in the category of bottom up, but also lots of parts that are sewn on. Mm-hmm. This one is the bottom up, but a lot of pieces were crocheted on, very low sew pattern. And then our third example of from the bottom up is this mermaid. You wouldn't even think that it started from the tail, but it's constructed from the bottom going up.
Yeah, another part I love about this pattern is it's like hyper customized. Like there's 2 or 3.
3.
Yeah, there's 3 different tails. Mm-hmm. And then you can do this, and then she gives you more options for if you want her to have a bikini top or not. And then there's hair options too, right?
There are a lot of different hair
I haven't
options.
gotten to the hair on mine yet. I've just gotten to here.
Number 6 is front to back construction. And these little jelly bean bunnies are an example of that. There's lots and lots of very simple crochet patterns that are front to back construction. This actually kind of fits in the no sew, no crochet as you go, because these ears, they are crocheted ahead of time, but they are not crocheted or sewn on. They're actually tied on as you are crocheting. The 2 ends get tied inside the body. So I don't know. It's not neat and tidy 6 categories.
Yeah.
Some fall in this gray area.
There's some definitely gray zone.
Super closer to one piece, no sew, no crochet as you go with these little bunny guys here. So I think people who make bumblebees will find a lot, not all, but a lot of bumblebees are crocheted front to back. There's kitties and hamsters and just a lot of little amigurumi animals.
Yeah, most of the axolotls I've seen, that if they're like the long axolotls, they're like this. But I have made an up and down axolotl before.
Mm-hmm. We've been duped so many times by buying patterns we thought were going to be one way of construction, only to find out it was completely different.
We hope that this video helps you as you're picking out your patterns that you want to make so that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Is it top down, bottoms up, front to back? Knowing these things helps you figure out exactly how patterns are made.
And eliminate frustration in
absolutely.
the process. Crocheting and learning amigurumi isn't for the faint of heart, and our adventure has taken us over this last 4 months in many different directions, but it's also taught us so many new skills as crocheters. We know you're going to love watching this video here.